Go for it, JR.
Yeah. Um, Good evening, everyone. Yeah, sorry, had a long day at work, so conked
Don't worry
out.
about it, bro.
Yeah, Herbert was definitely trying to match the energy that was coming his way. I think her friend was a bit sassy, a bit quirky, and I don't think by him trying to match her energy, it did him any favors. And yeah, that kind of spelt the end for him. Um, Connection wasn't strong enough, bro. He's not in a rush like Quentin says he is. And if I was Herbert, I'll be cautious too. She's said that she's had previous engagements. Um, it was either 2 or 3 times that she's been engaged. So I wouldn't be rushing into anything with her. But if Quentin's all for it, then maybe he's a better match.
Okay. Appreciate it. Yes. Who wants to take the next one? Who wants to get on? Not JR. Obviously, Herbert Cat date was interesting. There was a little bit of a tussle between the friend and Herbert. He switched on them. He started asking questions. What's your thoughts to Herbert situation with Cat? Anyone who wants to take it on? First lady?
Do you got any clips of any of this? I remember when they were at the table and Herbert gave that boring response, but I'm trying to remember the whole conversation.
I'll see if I can. I don't have no clips. So I can see if I can get the thing to play or see if I can.
Okay, but if not, yeah, I just remember them asking Herbert what made him like a good guy for her, and what made her what made him special, and he was just like, I'm Timothy, pretty much, like I'm him. And I was just like, okay. And then Phil went on to give a whole like eloquent response. And yeah, so I don't know. Herbert just seems like he's just there. And he seems like people are just supposed to come to him because he's that guy. So that's the type of vibe he gave. So I thought that conversation was kind of blah.
Cool.
But what I remember of it.
That's right. I'll have a little clip, but I don't know what clip it is. I've just clicked on their date, so I'll try and play a little bit. Hopefully, my internet will be sensible. You know what I mean? Let's see.
So now let me get back to
what
you
does
then.
secure mean?
How about I bounce this back to you?
But you know much more than I do, so you hold it back.
You're not holding back. That's literally it. So, like, what do you consider your top connection?
Kat was looking at her like, please. Please. What is the boy doing? She was looking at him serious. What's your guys' thoughts?
Was interesting. That friend was interesting. We got to ask Kat about that friend.
Why was a friend interesting? Why was a friend interesting? I don't get it. What?
I was just told to mute, so I'm gonna mute.
I mean, this is the thing. So the friend told him he got one question. He asked his one question. She answered the one question. And he wanted to continue to go more questions instead of answering her questions. And so that's what you get, that little tit for tat going back and forth. That's happening because it's like, I told you got one question. She's here to do what the friend is supposed to be doing on these dates, is find out information about the guys or whatnot. She gave the one question. She was like, okay, let's circle back to you. And he just got a little combative in that moment himself. Like, okay, let's circle back to me. That's what was supposed to happen. She's supposed to learn about it. Now, from last night, if y'all missed, I'm not going to give too many daggone things for what happened from last night on Sabrina's channel. Y'all go watch it. But Kat said, really, here's a little thing inside. Neither one of these guys were her men of her choice. So she just kind of got set up, and they were kind of like sitting there like, why are we here too? Because
who did she prefer? Who did she prefer again?
Oh, not. Chris was one of her choices, and she had somebody else, but these guys is not.
Because I never remember seeing her with them, so I was confused. No, but they did mesh her with Phil at some point. I remember.
And they did have her. They had, I think it was. She said she was on a date with Herbert and his ex with one other lady, and she said that because they had that date, if they would have played that date, this date would have made a little more sense, but they didn't play that date. And on top of it, it would have gave more insight on how Herbert really is or whatnot. But
how was he really then?
We're missing a lot, huh?
So how was Herbert really then? How was he really?
I don't know what she was saying. I can't remember. No, he is like laid back. She said he's really laid back and he's very like take his time type person. Like the ex was really going in down the line on that type of stuff, that he is really going to be patient where he wants to be patient at. But you know, this just wasn't, it was a bunch of these dates. I feel like these people weren't really matched with the people they want. They were just thrown in there with each other. And so that's why we get this kind of chaotic feedback with people. So I don't know. The friend would do what she was supposed to do. So I can't really stop her from being combative the way she was, because she's supposed to get intel. So that was on Herbert. He could have gave some more of himself in that moment.
Okay.
You can say no all you want, JR. We know you just got a disdain from combative women. It's okay.
JR wants to say something. Go for it, JR. What do you want to say? Let them know how you feel about it, bro.
Yeah, yes, I do. Combative women aren't ready to love. A lot of the time, they love being combative. But what I'll say is, yeah, I did check you out on Sabrina's interview, and she did say that Herbert does get along with all the women because he's a whole vibing person. But you know, he just doesn't give the urgency that some of them are looking for. And as I said, that's mainly Janelle. From what we've seen, her timeline seems to be speed pregnancy, speed engagement, you know, speed everything. And that's not how he's going to move. And with Kat, you know, they may not be a match, but I think the friend's combative energy, you know, you can live by that and you can die by that. That's not the way to get information from a guy, to be honest. That's just going to get his back up. If you want to get information, like, you come with your serious questions and you do it in an approachable manner where, you know, your questions can be answered. Just like when the ladies met the guys' exes, if there was any hostility there, then I'm quite sure the exes would have clammed up and probably matched their energy and not wanted to answer any questions. So there's a way to get the extract the information that you want. And you can't do what Muffin did either, which is overly flirt with your friend's connection, because that just makes you seem like you're willing to pounce on him if you get the give him chance to do so. So yeah, like, I think the friend came with the wrong attitude, but at the same time, she's entitled to be who she is. If that's who she is, then, you know, that's who Kat's homie is.
I'll say you like this, and I ain't gonna stand up for like some of my friends or whatever, stuff like that. But if my friend gives you that energy and you give it back, that tells me a lot about you. So I'm gonna be looking at you in that moment, because we're vetting you. You're there to be my prospect and vice versa, not my friend. So if my friend gets under your skin that quick, it's gonna tell me a lot about you.
Yeah, and that's true also. But also, I think it was Chris that said, you know, your friends say a lot about who you are as well. So if your friends come with that energy and that's cool with you, then yeah, maybe you're not a match, because if you have that tendency to be like that as well, birds of a feather flock together, then yeah, it's definitely going to end the connection there. So at least you know that you're not feeling each other, and that's the other part of the vetting process. You know, one part is find out if we're connected, if I can get deeper. The other part is, you know, maybe this person's not for me, and if they show up on a date like this, then it proves that they're not.
Love that. Sean, combative women, not ready to love. You know,
who was combative? I'm trying to figure out who was combative.
Everybody for JR.
I don't know. Not everybody.
Not everybody. I guess Allie was a little, you know, she was a little spark plug, you know. I'm gonna leave it there. But I don't necessarily I'm lost for words, so just bypass me on this one.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's what I got lost.
I need Kojo to unmute and help me out.
How you all get confused? Are you guys paying attention? We're talking about Ali and Herbert.
Okay. Ali Cat.
We need to reset the room.
Let me get come back.
There's another conversation happening
let me get
that I'm
combative.
trying to steer clear of. So I just need you to reset the room so that we can have the right conversation for this topic.
Not you being scared to say what she is. Anyway,
that's
listen.
what I was like. I wasn't being combative. It was Herbert. But JR ain't gonna see it that way.
No.
I'm not saying anything. Anyway, so we're having a conversation about Herbert and Kat, and the fact that Kat's friend was a little bit combative. So also, somebody might feel, but we'll do the actual date in terms of Herbert and Kat and her friend. So you can take it any way you want. It's just that JR pointed out that alleyway Kat is combative. I didn't think Katerina was combative at all, actually. But her friend was maybe a little bit more doing it. But I don't think the friend was that combative. I think Herbert was more combative than she was. Because if I'm asking you one question, you decide to try and ask 2 or 3 back. When you said one question, I've done what you asked me to do. You're the one now that I feel is taking the Mickey a little bit here, and I didn't really like that. That was a little bit. I'm not gonna say sassy, but that was a little bit like I was looking at him like, bruh, you playing too much. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Herbert was being pretty sassy in that moment. And I think when you match a sassy woman with sass, then the situation just gets kind of out of control.
You set yourself up for that, Kojo.
What? He was being sassy. I mean, he was being sassy, but I was gonna let it all go.
Yeah, he opened the door. He opened the door for C-Way to kick it down.
Look, we all know how I feel about a sassy man. I don't think Herbert is sassy on any other episode, but in this moment, he was definitely being pretty sassy. Maybe old girl brought it out of him. I don't know. But to JR's point, I do think a lot of times what I see with Ready to Love, people's friends that be on TV, some of them be really thirsty to have their moment, and they be taking the time to do the absolute most. So a lot of times the friends just be being extra. This may not even be the way she acts. She may not even be that toe-to-toe person in her day-to-day life with her friend. But when they get on the TV, they want to amp it up. They just be excited to be seen. So they do that in Housewives when they friend ofs, all this stuff. When it's time to get on the scene, they just be going crazy. So, but I definitely feel like men, if you are getting consistently sassy responses from women, you may need to figure out if you're the sassy pants. But that's a side note. That's not a side note, but yeah.
I ain't gonna say Herbert's sassy, but from seeing like clips of him interact, like behind the camera clips and all that stuff, he clown. So he gonna match your energy. He gonna clown with you and stuff you want to clown, and he gonna clown back or whatever. So I'll say that he's definitely gonna do that. I ain't gonna go all the way there, but he did pop it off. Like he could have easily just left it with the one question. Sorry, JR, you asked one question and that was it. That's all you get. You don't start trying to be like, no. I want to ask another question. No. I want to ask another. No. I want to ask. No, you asked your one question and that's what you asked for.
I agree. He should have up and left after he asked the question. Like, that's it, If he only had one question to ask, because remember, like I said, it's a two-way process. Yes, he is being vetted, but also he may have questions. I mean, I think on every single date, there were questions that the friends were asked about the ladies as well. Chris's date, he asked, okay, so I think, well, we'll get to that anyway, but, there was more of a dialogue between the friends. It wasn't just a straight interrogation. And I agree with you. Herbert did match the energy, and that's where he went wrong. He shouldn't have. Unfortunately, he matched the energy, and it doesn't favor guys to do that. Ask that one question, you got your answer. That's it. date's over. A lot of the dates were cut short because these guys made their excuses and left as soon as they had the opportunity to.
Yeah, I think this season I can tell that Herbert is a vibe. You know, he seems like he's really cool. He seemed like he would be fun to hang out with. But I think with this season, you're getting a lot of weird interactions, weird dates, because none of these people F with each other for real. So I think that's kind of the background. So I'm not gonna, just to be clear, I'm not saying Herbert is a sassy man. I'm saying he's being sassy in that moment. But he could have been sassy in that moment because he's just annoyed and tired of being on a date where he really don't F with people for real. Like, I get it. Like, I may be sassy too. It's just it was, the date was clearly pointless. Like, there's nobody there for Kat. There's nobody on Kat level, in my opinion, on this whole entire show. And that goes for a couple of the women on the show, so everybody's wasting their time here. So I think that's kind of the background of what's going on.
Yep. I mean, at what point? At what point do we also hold production accountable? Because this is some bullcrap. Why are you showing us dates? Because clearly there was other dates I'm sure Kat had with some other people. So why are we seeing dates of her? But I know probably to make it make sense because you have to see him in a bad light so that he got evicted from the show. But it's just like, I just feel like that again, I'm gonna say again, the storytelling has been absolutely whack, and I probably won't be on any future 200 episode of Ready to Love when I say this, but I want to keep it real with them. Fix up. I know some of you producers watch this show. Fix the frick up. It's awful. At this point, it's abysmal. Like is like in England we say it's GCSE level. When we want to say something's bad, we say it's kids level. You know what I mean? Because like we're showing dates that make no sense at all, and that's what makes it. This makes the show disjointed, but it also means as well like people are having different behaviors that really aren't necessary. Because if Herbert not interested in Kat, why are we seeing a date with Kat? We saw enough dates with Herbert with who he quote unquote liked. It was enough. We had Janelle and we had Sierra. It was enough for us to make a deduction that he just wants fun. He's not serious. They're gonna kick him off. You know what I mean? We didn't need to see the date with Kat and him and Phil. It just doesn't make sense. So, like for me, it's just like y'all doing too much with this editing. I need you to get in the editing room, speak to whoever's editing your shows now, and fix it. If that means someone gets fired in the morning, that's when they're getting fired in the morning because the show is not flowing at all. And I know that people are not messing with each other, but we're not even getting that vibe. That no one's messing with each other. You usually get that tension, like people don't like each other, or whatever. We saw Potomac team was DC was a good example of that. When people don't want to mess with people, you can see the tension that comes through the screen. This one is like. It's like I don't know why we're here. You know why? I don't know why I'm here. Did you get a phone call? I got a phone call. Yeah, we're gonna be here. That's what it feels like. Do you know what I mean? So at that point, it's like that's not necessary for me personally. Yeah. So hopefully, Ready to Love. If you're watching this, and you got one of your people showrunners probably watching this show, go back and tell the main people to fix up. I don't know if it's Discovery to talk to whoever's in the lead now. It needs to fix us up. Okay. Thank you. All right. Cool. Yes. Who was opening the mic? Go for it.
It's the casting. I think the editors can only do what they can do. I do agree though that I think at least if people aren't vibing, they can at least show that. But you can't keep putting women that will go after a certain group on a show with men that just aren't on that level. Like if you can't find the men, then you need to take a longer time and find a city where you can find the men and the women, because it just seems like it's a consistent problem where you have women like Jessica, women like Kat. Like these people are not only pretty, they have their own finances, like they're doing well. And then who are they supposed to match up with? Like, what are they really supposed to do? Or you got people like Janelle who are on certain timelines. The show is meant for 30 to 50, right? So you're going to cast women who may be 39 to 42 in a very finite window of having kids. You have to have people for them. And if you don't, it's like, what are you doing? I think it's the casting. So while they're listening, I say go to a city like where the ratio is of men and successful men, like San Francisco, right? Everyone talks about in San Francisco, well, I don't know what type of men, but at least it's a 12-to-1 ratio of men, I think, in San Francisco. I'm just giving an idea. They need to go somewhere where there's men.
There's a different reason why there's a lot more men in San Francisco.
Oh, well, maybe there's that too. But look, I'm just saying. Go somewhere where there's actually ability. Do Ready to Love London. Y'all got men over there. Do some Ready to Love where there's some men.
I don't know about London, but I hear what you're saying.
They gotta get out the South.
The thing is, like, production dates. Like, this is historic. It goes every season. They won't leave it to you to date who you're connecting with, because you'll be dating them every week. Like, why would you date people that you ain't gonna connect with? That's not gonna be good TV, and you'll probably solidify your connections very early if you just stick to the one or two people that you're feeling throughout the whole time. So production definitely cast them, and sometimes it's very late notice, or it's pretty much a blind date. You're told to turn up at a venue, and someone arrives in, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting to see that person, but you have to play it off because you're in front of the camera. So I think, like, quite a few cast members have confirmed that, you know, a lot of the time, like, they don't know who they're going to meet on these dates. It's not pre-planned. So that's where production earn their money. And unfortunately, if they know that they're going to get, they've got cast members that are going to resonate with certain people's views and attitudes, then, and that's going to be good TV, as they call it, then they're going to sacrifice the love aspect of it in order to create those ratings and get those new fans and viewers. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's reality TV. So there's an element of reality, but it's entertainment. It's still TV, right? And also, I would say that it's a winning formula for them, which is why they've gone away from what they did in the previous seasons. You know, they gain followers and viewers based on the content that we make, and it gets people interested who haven't watched the show before. So, you know, we're doing their work for them as well in terms of lead generation. And then finally, I'll just say that when it comes to casting, they don't know ahead of time who's going to mesh with who. That's what the mixer's for. The mixer, you see who gravitates towards who gets whose number, and then I think they create their storylines from there. They say, okay, this person's going to be this character, this person's going to be this character. We're going to create this narrative for all these people, and that's how they do it, you know. But they don't know that these guys aren't urgent for kids and marriage straight away. There's no way to vet that, because some of these guys could be saying it to just get TV time, and when they meet the ladies, they're not feeling any of them. So, you know, it's really about whether you really connect with someone enough to have a relationship. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. If some ladies are on a different timeline, or they've got their careers and they've worked so hard and all that other stuff, listen, at the end of the day, they can only choose from the people that have been selected on the show and the curveballs. And if none of those people are for them, then you have to go on your merry way, right?
I hear that still. 100%. Any other thoughts on the production before I move it on? Because we've done Herbet and Cat now. So, all right, cool. Let's move it on. Cool. Since we're on Herbet, obviously, guys, I don't know if you remember Herbet and Sierra's date, because I know he said he wants to take it slow like Bobby Valentino, but he was making quite a few innuendos. I wasn't making that many innuendos. Let me not exaggerate. He made one or two little comments that were close to kind of saying something. But it seems like he wants to be slow, but he wants to have fun. Is there any confusion in that? Is that just my brain thinking there could be a little bit of confusion in terms of message in that he wants to take it slow but have fun at the same time? No, Sean, no, go for it.
No, I mean, I clearly understand. I don't necessarily think that. Look, it wouldn't be my timetable if I was sitting on Ready to Love, you know, because typically when you go on that show, you're entertaining and looking for more serious relationships. Now, I don't think he necessarily needs to be rushed through the process, but as I said before, I don't see that Janelle's time frame was that, you know, unrealistic. At this age, when you're in your late 30s, your 40s, he wants to have children, right? I don't know if he does have them already, or if he is looking, he definitely wants to have kids. If you want to have kids, man, woman, I get it. Women are the ones that have to bear the children. But at the end of the day, if you find somebody that you see as quality and you're considering having kids with them, you know, that's a process, and you don't know if you're going to hit it out the park the first go round. So you need to, you know, have a sense of urgency. And I think like he has a fearful, avoidant style. And I think that is probably what is more problematic than what he was saying when it came to Sierra, because there's plenty of people that do that. They're willing to be in a monogamous relationship, but they're not willing to take the next step. And that's how people become 5, 10, 15, 20 years a girlfriend when they want to be married, because that is a real thing that, you know, some men do. And some men have that timeline, and there's some women that are fine with that. So I don't think what he's asking for is unrealistic. I just think he needs to have a better sense of urgency if he is of a particular age and wants to be serious and settle down and start a family. You know, that's my thought.
Well, I guess I'm the only one still alive here. So, yeah, what are we talking about right now? I'm so sorry. We talking
They
about.
got you too?
Yes, it just got me
Herbet
just
and
now
Sierra.
too. I told you this episode is wasting my time, and my mind is going off somewhere and stuff. So,
It's okay. Herbet and Sierra. I'm asking a question. Herbet and Sierra. He's talking about speed. He's talking about obviously taking things slow, but you know, it's still kind of wanting to have that fun with, I guess, with Sierra. Is there confusion in what he's saying?
No, there's not confusion, but it's the dark arts of it all. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm gonna put you on my time window, but in the meantime, I'm gonna take whatever you give me. So if you give me the cookies, I'm gonna take the cookies. That's what it is, and that's what he mean by I'm gonna have a little fun. Like, you're not talking about going to an amusement park and picnics and all these wonderful things like that. Let's be for real. You're an adult, so when you say you're trying to have some fun, we know what you mean or whatnot. So you take your time or whatever, and to say that I want to take my time and have fun, like, I don't know what other way I can really take that. Is that you're just saying whatever you give me during the course of me wasting your time, I'm going to take it. I don't see no confusion.
That's fair. Yeah. Jay, I'll go for it.
Yeah, he actually said he wanted to have fun on the way to getting married, right? So I think he's looking for a more entertaining connection, entertaining relationship before it gets there. He may not see that in some of the ladies. Sierra is a whole vibe though. She seems to be cracking jokes, one-liners. Sometimes they land, and as we've seen on previous episodes, sometimes they don't. But she's got a jokey personality. But at the end of the day, I think we've established that Herbet is definitely not someone that's on the fast track system, whereas some of the ladies claim to be. But you know, like I said in the chat earlier, if there's a particular candidate who says she wants to move things ahead very quickly, then I would hope to have chemistry with her, strong chemistry from very early on. I wouldn't be rushing just because she wants to rush, because her personality, you know, when the cameras aren't rolling, may be very different to how she is on IG Live. So I would be very cautious about, you know, wanting to talk about procreating, because if he keeps talking about it and that's what she's thinking, then that would be leading her on to make her feel like he's going to do that. So I think he's done the right thing by saying he's on the go slow, he's not prepared to rush, and that's going to alienate a lot of the women on the cast who are opposite to that. But he has to fall on that sword and just realize his woman ain't there.
My question would be, why do we have to, and I'm not saying that it has to go to marriage, but why do we have to take it so slow before we actually make a commitment? Because that seems like that was his pattern with his ex in the past, is we're taking it so slow to say that we're committed to each other. Why we can't have fun and be committed to each other? Why we can't have fun and during this whole process leading up to an actual real commitment, which is marriage? So it's like, what do you actually mean by this? And why is it taking you so long? Because if you think of, oh, the faster we get to being married, then the faster we get to having kids, and then we don't have the fun. If that's what you think, then I get it. But if you're understanding that we can go through a process, be in a relationship, at some point you decide that you want to marry me, we can get married and still go through marriage for a while without even having children. So we can still enjoy that process for a bit. You know, not all of these women are going to align to that because of age and circumstances like that. But if you can give me that explanation, then it might be more plausible that I can go along with this game plan that you're saying, because there's still a plan in place. But at this point, you're not giving me a plan in place. You're just telling me to fly by the seat of my pants and just go along with for the ride. And that's scary to a lot of women. That's scary because that's how we end up, these long time 14-year girlfriends, baby mama, and all these other things, waiting along the ride with you to try to figure out if I'm that one, while you go mess around with a whole bunch of other ones. So it's, you know, a lot of women on top, just no matter what age they're looking at you at, they're not going to go for that because you don't have an actual set game plan in place to even place her in. I don't know.
No,
right, but quick response to that, and I agree with you, Jay. But the thing is, you could also end up a baby mother if you rush things too quickly and you don't get to know the person. You don't have time to actually create that relationship. The foundation's not strong.
But see, that's part of that having fun part. You know what I'm saying? No,
but if you're rushing, you're not giving that fun part.
No, if we're having fun, no matter what point of we're having fun, that can happen during the fun part of it. So if we're not rushing the rest of it, why are we rushing the fun? I need to know what the fun is.
We shouldn't be rushing anything. That's my point.
Yeah. I'm not saying we need to rush, and I'm not saying his game plan is wrong, but he's saying we should rush, we shouldn't rush, but we should still have fun. What is the fun?
Have fun on the way to getting married. That's what he said, right? He wants to be married, have fun on the way to get married. I don't have kids yet, but I'm sure once the kids come, the fun is not going to be there with my partner in the same way, because our attentions are going to be divided between our new children. And, you know, a majority of the time, there's going to be noise. There's going to be, financial pressures. There's going to be relationship pressures and all those other things. The time for fun is before you have the children.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. You, not Herbert. I'm asking you this. Yeah. What is the fun? What is the fun for you?
The fun, how I see it, the fun would be actually getting to know the person, finding out what things we have in common, what we don't have in common, creating memories, and not necessarily, intimate ones. But the fun part is the journey where you're in that honeymoon period and it's all new and you're doing things that may be different and you're vibing and you're connecting. That's the fun part for me.
But when we summarize it from fun, that fun translates different to some of us.
I know.
And that's the thing. You can't just leave it there and just say, I want to have fun in the process and already know that you take things slow. Because that sounds like I just want to smash and keep it moving.
Right. It might sound like that, but that might not be actually what he said. He said marriage. That's what
I'm saying. We need to know more. And that's why I said I have those questions as to what is the fun per se.
Yeah.
If the fun is what you're saying, okay, I can sit with you and do that, while we're getting to know each other and build to whatever it is we're building to. But if you're just telling me I want to have fun, I'm translated however I want. And that to me sounds like you just want to hit it and move. So
right. And like I said, how it sounds when you're trying to rush is you quick trying to be a baby mother, or you're quick trying to skip the relationship part and have the child. So if you don't have the solid relationship, but you want the child, then that's going to create a recipe for disaster, because you may not be the person that I thought you were initially when we met, and that child might change you. So, you know.
So how long it's going to take you? 5 years?
No, I think that depends on the chemistry. Like if I've locked in on someone already and decided, you know what, this person is the person that I want to be with, then really I'm gonna stay there until like we get it to where we need it to be to have kids, like and get married and all of that stuff. But it's not gonna be a fast track. I'm not out here trying to be a baby dad. So I'm not trying to impregnate every girl that comes across my path and spend 5 minutes with them, and then they're talking about they want kids, and then I'm trying to give them babies. That's baby daddy stuff. I'm not interested in that.
I mean, I think just for clarity, that's not what I heard. And listen, I don't have a horse in this race, but that I heard Janelle say that she would want to know by the end of this year. And from what I understand, this show was filmed during the early part of 2023. Right. So she was saying by the end of the year, he should know that he's ready to marry her, and she would be looking for a ring in the beginning of the following year. Right. So I think like at 40, 38, 39, 40, within 6 to 8 months of being with someone, you should know if that's somebody you see a future with. So that's the part where I don't disagree with her in saying like, hey, we can have fun, we could do all that stuff, but we also have to have a plan and a timeline. And I think what Jay is saying, and what I even walked away from hearing, is that there's no plan. It's like, let's just fly by the seat of our pants and we'll see what happens, because he wasn't definitive. Like you were definitive about what you want. Herbert was not. He was like, let's just have a good time and kind of throw the chips up in the air. And if they land on we're going to be together, great. If they land on over here and I decide I don't want to be with you in 2 or 3 months, then that's where it's going to be. And I think when you're in this, especially ready to love process, you need to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more planning about what your timeline is, what the future is. If it's not 8 months, is it 1 year? Is it a year and a half? Like, what is it? It can't just be, I'm just looking to have fun, because that sounds like I don't want to answer your question and I want to just do whatever the hell I want to do. And if you say yes, then that means get ready for the roller coaster ride, because you might just be going up and down with me.
I definitely hear that. I think for me, when I was hearing him say have fun and take it slow, I was confused. I was like, you want to have fun and take it slow at the same time? Like, I just think to myself that, I personally think, look, I get it. You want to take it slow. You want to take your time, everything like that. I hear it. But then you want to induce, and he did say it a few times, I mean, more with Sierra than anybody else, more the sexual jokes. And I'm like, well, if you actually do start having sex with these people, it's not really taking it slow. At that point, you're going to speed it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it sounds a bit like you've got commitment issues. You know what I mean? And taking it slow is really more about keeping that person at length and trying to vet that person to the highest hilt. And the reality is, you'll never be satisfied, because there'll always be something. You want to make sure that make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And when that's done, there'll be something else again. Because the issue isn't the speed. The issue is commitment. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, me personally, I'm all for like taking your time and being patient with getting to know somebody. That I'm not phrased about that, right? But when you specifically talk about taking things slow, and you hint talk about wanting ladies to have patience, specifically, it was more Janelle than anybody, but wanting people to have patience, I'm asking the serious question: are you serious about where you are in life, about being in a relationship that's going to actually be intentional? Are you serious about that? Because at this point now, I think we all have an expectation due to age that time is running out. And your time is running out as a man or woman. Your time is running out. Number two, that you've gained in so much experience that you can now vet someone much quicker than when you would have done when you're 20, because you now have much more life experience. You've dealt with other women, you know what I mean? So at that point, you should be able to vet them much more quicker, and be able to assess, okay, this person's for me, it's not for me. I know what I want, what I don't want. So when you tell me you're taking it slow, all I'm really hearing is you ain't really here for the commitment. Like you're gonna make that person jump through hoops, and you still won't probably be ready to marry them. So although you mention take it slow, have fun before marriage, nobody mentions having fun before marriage unless you're trying to highlight that. Like you know what I mean? Like if okay, let me give you the dark arts here, right? When you want to let the lady know that you're on shenanigans, okay, you want to make sure that she knows that you're on shenanigans. You let her know I'm on shenanigans. I'm on the streets. I'm living on the streets, and it's cold on these streets. Why do I keep mentioning it? Because I want the person to know. I want the person to know from the jump. I'm not here for a relationship, so don't get it twisted. I want to get your mind frame into that same space that I'm in, so you know from the jump. So if I keep telling you to take it slow, it's not because you actually want to take it slow. It's because there's oftentimes a commitment issue. It's not to do with commitment. Because if you were committed and you were about finding relationships, you wouldn't say anything. You say, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that person.
Kojo froze.
Yeah, he froze.
Well, there is someone.
You know what I mean? And I don't.
You were frozen, bro.
You were frozen.
But the thing is, I can hear you when I freeze. I can hear you, but you guys can't hear me. It's nuts, yeah. But no, I pretty much finished it. I just said that he just needs to. I think he's played a bit of a game, being a bit cheeky, a bit of dark arts. That's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? So me personally, all this take it slow stuff, it's really just an excuse for I don't commit. And having that little bit of fun beforehand. If I have to mention I want fun before I want to get married, who mentions that? Who mentions that? Like deep it. Do you ever? By the way, I like to have fun before I get married. Who mentions that? Like who actually says that kind of stuff? The only reason why you're saying that is if you're in a certain paradox. Like for instance, if you're a Christian and you're going to fornicate before you get married because that's what you won't do, you kind of give that warning, like, hey, I have fun before I get married. You let them know because people already have a prejudgment about you if you say you're quote unquote a Christian. So you're trying to just make sure they know that you think a little bit differently to what people think. The fact that he mentioned slow told me everything I need to know. That boy, that man, at this point in time, looks like it's commitment issues. Just saying. But I may be wrong.
And the ex, brother, listen, the ex said it too. So it wasn't even like we got to read between the lines, right? The ex made it very clear what time that he is on. So we know what it is. And he's just taking that same mentality into this new phase of dating. And meanwhile, and we always get on the ladies about this, but when he was, told he wasn't ready to love, he was like, he gonna just keep on doing him, which means that you don't want to change. You're not open to the feedback. You're not getting what's necessary for you to be ready to be in a serious relationship, and you're fine with where you're at. Yep. And so he will continue to go on until maybe he just gets to a point where he's tired, or he finds the person that handles him in just the right magical way, or he just will be untethered to anybody.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I think we should call that out. I think we should call that out because you came on the show to Ready to Love. Now, don't get twisted. Of course, we know that everything Ready to Love is not always kosher, but you came on the show to call Ready to Love. So I think we have to call that out, because if it was a lady, I'll call that up about her not changing, and you expect people men to want you to. Well, I'm looking at you and going, you're not going to have a serious relationship with this mindset. You know what I mean? Like you're getting feedback to let you know that your behavior is showing an apathy towards the situation, and there's no you know what, I'm taking what you guys said, I'm going to make sure I implement it or change it, whatever. None of that. I'm just going to continue to do what I'm going to do. Then of course we're going to continue being in the same place that you have been for the last few years. And here's the thing, and here's a caveat to a lot of men, just in case you lot think you're invincible. We're not. Okay, we're not invincible. We have a time limit, just like the ladies. Maybe not necessarily in terms of children bearing all the way, but absolutely we have a time limit. Okay, all right, you're gonna get to an age and you're gonna realize that the pool is very small for you too. Okay, the pool is very, very small for you too. And let me tell you this now: you don't want to be on your dying bed and you got no family around you, bro. Okay, you don't want to be that guy. All right, because you don't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So just want to put that fear in there. Yes, Sean.
And another thing, I think that, you know, we often talk about what you do, how it just weaves a web, right? And if you get into the situation where you waste so many people's time, and it's honestly a wasting time, when you just keep going into these cycles of relationships that you really know in your heart of heart you're not ready for, you're scared for whatever reason, and you don't deal with the root cause of what's holding you back, and you keep doing that, you don't only create a trail of hurt people, you create a trail of bad situations for yourself. So a lot of times you'll often find yourself in a situation where when you're ready finally to be with somebody, you may not have the options that you think you have, right? And yes, do we know the facts? Can men date younger? We sure can. But are you the man that's going to get the younger woman that you want? Have you passed up legitimate people that really could have been great mates for you? Or, I think you just start to, you gotta, we have to be accountable as men for this, right? We can't keep spinning this narrative. And I get it. I'm not saying it's not real. It is real, right? Like, men have a longer cycle to have kids. Yes, that's true. However, we do age, and there are women that aren't going to want a man that's significantly older than them. And are you the man that younger women want, right? Because that's also a smaller population of men, right? They're men that carry themselves in a certain way. They're men that have access to a certain amount of money. Those are the ones that usually are getting the younger women that you want, right? So you keep just passing up and thinking you got all this time. And are you really vetting? These are the things that I want to ask, like, because sometimes, we talk about dark arts on this channel. Some of these codes, like, oh, I want to wait, I want to see, I want to get to know you. You're not doing that. You're just passing time, wasting time, playing around, doing what you want to do. Are you really spending quality time? Because I can tell you from somebody who dated and was a serial dater in their very early, their 20s and early 30s, I wasn't doing none of that. It wasn't until I decided to be serious, and then I really got to know somebody. And guess what? It didn't take me 2 years to figure out she was the one that I wanted to marry. Because if you're really spending quality time, ain't no way it's going to take you 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 years to know that the person is somebody you want to spend your time with. And guess what, folks? I'm going to land my plane here. When you think you got them figured out, you don't. So go ahead and marry somebody thinking you got them figured out after a 5-year plan. Guess what? They're going to change because people change. You're not going to be the same person. So thinking you have the recipe, the science all figured out, and you need this tantamount period of time, guess what? People be together 10 years, and the guy's vetting and waiting and wishing, they get married, and she changed and they get divorced in a year. So there is no magic time frame recipe. It is doing the work, getting to know somebody, and taking a risk.
Love it. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Herbet and Sierra and his lack of commitment, or should I say taking it slow, before we move on? If not, I'll move on. Fantastic. Let's move on. All right, cool. Moving on. There was also situation. I guess we're still talking about Herbet because he wasn't everything, to be honest. Janelle and her friend, obviously, I don't know if you guys remember the date between Janelle and her friend. Her friend was giving some good advice. I actually like Janelle's friend, She seemed level-headed, you know what I mean? Like, she seemed like she had a head on her shoulders, you know what I mean? And I started asking myself the question. So she got a head on her shoulders and Janelle's as crazy? So it ain't adding up. Maybe that friend is as crazy as we don't really know. Okay, maybe that friend is a little bit more crazy. Or it could be that friend is just really more of a calming nature to Janelle and her friend as well. That can also be a possibility as well. But her friend was married as well. So, I was just asking myself, wait, where did this, I wonder, You know, so what's you guys' thoughts of that date? Because it was Janelle, Quentin, and Herbert. And Herbert again once more didn't put much effort into his answers. Quentin was putting all the lovely dovey, spectacular answers into his particular answering of her questions. The friend also chose Quentin to be a better choice for Janelle. Janelle was like, yeah, but still wasn't really fully convinced. And she told a friend about why she felt like Herbert was why she liked Herbert and why she wanted to potentially see if anything was going to happen between the two of them. So I want to get you guys' thoughts. Janelle, Quentin, Herbert, what was your thoughts that date? What was the thoughts that date? JL, why are you smiling like
that? Because this is what Janelle probably wanted, right? She gets to narrow down her connections right here. She has Herbert, who, like everyone's just said, is on the go slow, and that's not what she's looking for. But Quentin, he's saying everything to get to the yams. He wants to speed everything up, and he wants to baby within a year. He wants to get married and all this other stuff. That's music to her ears. So that's the connection that's probably strongest for her, and that aligns with everything you guys were saying previously. Quentin is the guy, right? Not here to waste no time, just ready to fast track everything.
She don't believe it. She don't
believe it. What do you mean?
Like we don't believe it. I don't think she believes his answers. That's why she wanted her friend to look closer into Herbert, because she doesn't believe anything that he's saying, as she shouldn't. But my question is, why does Quentin put all this effort to lie to Janelle and no effort to lie to Lee? Why he don't want to lie to Lee? Why he just want to lie to Janelle?
I wish I could sing it, but he's trying to get to the yams.
Okay. So he doesn't want to double his luck? He just want to lie to one person? Because everything he said is a lie.
I think he's also curious about the age gap as well, the age dynamic. Like, I think he wants that older woman vibe, someone attractive as Janelle is, and all the other stuff that comes with it. But he definitely is probably physically more attracted, which is why he puts more into giving her the spiel. Yeah.
Generally, men. Okay, let me rephrase it. Generally, people lie to their main one and tell their side one everything. So there's your answer.
Wait, now you got to clarify. So who's he lying to? So wait, they lied to the main one and tell everything to the side. So who is he telling everything to? Because he ain't saying nothing to Lee. He done ghosted her.
He either saying nothing or telling or being too honest, like he was a couple episodes ago. Talk about he ghosted her and whatever. Yeah, everything that he was saying to Janelle on this date was cap. And I mean that's just what it is. I really did like her friend. Her friend seemed really nice, really level-headed. I was trying to figure out why she was friends with Janelle. From what I could see so far, that was kind of weird. I was trying to add that all up, but she was super nice. But yeah, like Quentin is full of crap. That's all I got for him. He don't mean nothing that he's talking about. He ain't trying to put a baby in Janelle. He's lying.
Well, truth be told, Janelle is telling half truths either, because she ain't trying to have no baby in her either. She's want to adopt.
So they're not even talking about the same thing. What the hell he talking about? And that man ain't finna adopt no baby. The F, he not finna do that.
And he mentioned that. He was like, he said that this episode too. Like he, wanted to have his own kids. Now, when is a good question. But I think, when he's ready, he wants to have his own kids. I don't think it's now or in a year, but yeah, he'd be showing too much of his teeth for me. So that just tells me when you see all somebody's teeth, yeah, they capping.
But
is it cold? Okay. Is it cold in London?
Fairly. We have like schizophrenic summer, so. But listen, I mean, Quentin is being intentional. Janelle outlined her timeline and he was with it. So he knows exactly at this stage, he's heard it enough times from her, what her time frame is, and he's quite happy to go along with it. So, you know, I think he's bullcrapping as well. I think he's BSing, but that's what she wants to hear. That's what a lot of women want to hear, apparently. You're not gonna wait. You're not gonna time waste. You want to fast track to get her what she desires, right? And at this point, I think he's definitely been real with Lee. He told her to her face that he ghosted her for it, you know, because he was speaking to Janelle. He's been spending more time getting to know Janelle than Lee. So that ended that connection as well. So, you know, any hopes of Quentin and Lee done now, because anyhow Lee takes him back after him saying that to her face, then we'd have serious problems with that too, wouldn't we? The man blatantly said he ghosted her. Yeah, and like the connection with Quentin and Janelle seems to have grown since she's decided that Herbet is a waste of time. So the two of them could quite feasibly have this child and have this marriage within a year. You know, they don't seem to have any problems with each other. It seems to be a lot of physical attraction. They get on personality wise. So I haven't seen any stumbling blocks, but I definitely think that there is some BSing going on. He's playing that old R&B and she's vibing to it.
But what I think is kind of confusing with Quentin is then he will have these moments. It's almost like a childlike quality that he has where he slips and says things that he probably really shouldn't. He might be thinking them, but he shouldn't. Just like the Lee comment with ghosting her. And then when the friend asked him what he thinks about Janelle, he says she's a thug. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I've never described a woman that I would be interested in. And I've never heard any friend of mine that are different, you know, a little different than me, have ever described any woman that they wanted to be in a serious relationship with, or even considering that as a thug. Like
that was Herbet.
Oh, that was Herbet that said that? Oh,
yeah, Q said it in a roundabout, nicer way.
But he said the same kind of thing.
But he said the same thing.
The thug word wasn't.
Yeah, that she's hard. She's hard for a lot of people, difficult for a lot of other people. But for him, she's fine. So where I'm going to go with this for it, and JR, this is all I'm going to give you, is screaming alliance. Okay, that's what it's screaming right about now, is that we in this to make it to the end together. And I'm going to say what is necessary in the moment to make it look like we got something more. But unfortunately, you're both blocking your blessings because y'all not right for each other. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and try to play in y'all face and act like there's a connection between you two when there's really not. Sir, you don't want no commitment. Your ex came on here and told us already that you was not trying to have a real commitment, serious thing or whatever. So you still not even on Janelle's time frame, which she is on a time frame because she keeps making a point to mention how old she is, even though she ain't trying to birth the kids herself. She want to be able to play with them at least. So unless you trying to adopt next week, you don't want no Janelle. She don't want you. She was kind of probably hoping that you put more pressure on Herbert than other than bringing just a gift and have him have some act right and say some right, correct things in front of her friend. But he didn't, because he ain't got no real intentions with her either after she done gave her timeline. Everybody wasting everybody's time right about now. That's all I can keep telling y'all. Like, we just playing in each other's face. When you over here blocking your blessing, when you can have Lee over here, but you don't want Lee because she don't go out enough for you, or she get intimidated, or whatever the case you want to make up in your mind. That's why you're going to sit in front of her face and say what you said in front of Janelle, because you had no business saying that in front of Janelle unless you were trying to make a point to Janelle. that I'm still in it with you. Because that was just made no sense. Even though the reasoning behind it was legit, it made no sense to do it in front of Janelle. So y'all just at this point is giving alliance to me. I'm so sorry. I wish I can say more on the fact, but at this point, when the friend asks you, what do you find attractive about her? You should have way more to say than she's beautiful and she was sometimes difficult to be with, but I can understand and I can deal with her difficulty. You should be able to tell me that we align. We both want to have this amount of kids. We want to stay in this state, this stuff like. So if y'all not only working on an alliance at this point, y'all should at least have some backstory. Y'all could have watched, what is that movie with Adam Sandler and old girl where they sit here and create cue cards for each other so they know their story when they get together. Y'all should at least had that. But to tell me that a better version of what Herbert said, that she's thugged out, and she like to be thugged out before 9. Shout out to B.O.
That's all he got. That's all he got because that's all she's giving off camera, right?
It's either that or they smashed already.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If they smashed, then that's all he's picking up from her, and that's what he said, then we got to go with that, right? I don't think that particular scene was heavily edited. But look, the fact of the matter is we've seen the IG live that she did, right? And if you haven't seen it, then you should go watch it. She admits to being quite hostile, putting hands on people and doing quite a lot of things. So yeah, like that is fuggery, right? If it was a guy walking around talking about I put hands on people and go and whoop people and I'm not going to change that, then you'll be saying that's a fug. So, she's quite proud of that label. And if that's a quality that he sees and there's only limited amounts of things he can say in that situation, then that's because she's not giving more. That's actually who she is. And he likes it. He's cool with it. So I ain't mad at it. Fact of the matter is, he's saying the things that she wants to hear. There's a 7-year age gap between Quentin and Janelle. So, if he really is trying to build an alliance with her and she's, they're on an alliance to make it to the end of the show, then why wouldn't they also have the alliance to give her what she's looking for in terms of having a child, whether it's by conventional means or by any other means? He probably smitten enough to want to go with it.
Now, JR, aren't you the one who was just giving us a speech about going too fast, and now you want to sit here and say he should be an alliance for giving her a foster child?
No, that's exactly my point. Quentin is talking about fast tracking, right?
Why do you say it's fast tracking?
Willingly saying, what?
Why is it if it's not the long train, it's fast tracking train?
Well, listen, I said that Herbert is right to go take his time to get to know the person and have fun along the way.
Herbert said. Herbert said he want to have fun.
Right. On the way
to road to marriage with no definitive time frame.
No definitive time frame. Exactly. And now Quentin is saying what you guys are saying.
He's agreeing with Jay's. I mean, not Jay's, with
Janelle. Exactly. And that's what we want. We want.
But that's not fast tracking, though. It's just a different time frame.
Right. If her connection is there, it looks like it's going to be Quentin by what he's saying, because he's aligning with what she's looking for. Now, she's already given her timeline, as we've all discussed, and Quentin's with it. Mm-hmm. So there is no problem there. Like, there's nothing to decipher. He has heard what she wants. He said he's cool with it. That's the end. And if he says, oh, well, the only qualities I like about her is, she's a handful for everybody else to deal with, but with.
Go ahead, C-Way.
Look at God. Look at God.
Can you hear us, JR, before I get to talking?
He ain't gonna be able to answer you.
Yes, he is. Oh, he might be frozen. Oh, he's up now.
Are you done, JR?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead, C-Way.
Okay, what I was gonna say is that I just think, JR, you don't give women of a particular age enough credit. And this is the reason why I and a few of us who got drugged by a few people in the comments was so kind of frustrated with Liz of 5 billion seasons back. At Janelle's age, do you think she really believes, JR, the things that are coming out of Quentin's mouth? She doesn't. She knows that he's just talking. I promise you. Because anybody with common sense, with 2 cents at 41 knows when a 33-year-old or whatever he is blowing complete smoke up her butt. I just want you to give women a little bit more credit. You said earlier that we want to be lied to. There are some folks who want to be lied to, especially y'all Tauruses. But for the most of us, no, the Tauruses need a stray.
Not a whole astrological sign.
I'm telling every Taurus I know wants to live in La La Land. I promise you. But for the rest of us, we want the truth.
But Janelle's outspoken enough to say what she wants. If she sees it as being BS, I'm sure she would have said in her confessionals, or she would have said in the ladies' lounge, "Man,
Why
Quentin
would
is
she sit here and cut off her alliance, JR? Like they got a whole thing. They got a pact.
I'm sorry to the Taurus who don't apply. I'm sorry.
Her goals are more important than any alliance.
What are her goals, JR? What are her goals?
What is she selling? What is she selling?
She said she wanted to get engaged, at least engaged by the end of the year.
And Herbert said he wants a whole bunch of kids, but he ain't moving on the fast track of that at all. So people just be talking.
We spoke about Herbert. Now it's Quentin's turn, who is saying the right things. So where is there a problem? Like, we know that we can see it from the outsider's perspective.
He's regurgitating what she says. That doesn't mean it's the right thing. It does not mean it's the right thing. It doesn't. If it's not aligning from his heart to come out as pure, it's not the right thing.
We don't know that because they don't want to give it enough time.
You're making hypotheticals of saying that she's sitting here on her that her goals is to have a baby in 1 year, that she don't want to push out herself. No, but she's not even trying to push out this baby herself. She's saying things. She's saying things just like everybody else is saying things to get by.
And he heard that.
The end of the show.
Right. He heard that and he said, "That's cool." She said that to him on one of their dates.
Her goal is to make it to the end of the show.
No, she said that on one of their dates. She outlined what she's looking for. And he said, "I'm cool with it." He had his big Malcolm X glasses on and everything, looking all politicking. And, he agreed with it. He has given no pushback.
I'm going to tell you this, JR. From this day forward, I best not hear of a girl coming and say that you say anything other than the truth out your mouth, bro, because you're setting yourself up real good right now.
No. I don't think so. I think what I'm proving is you guys went in on Herbert for his delayed timeline and lack of action. And now we have the opposite, where the guys are aligning perfectly with what Janelle said.
We don't have the opposite. We do not have the opposite, JR. You're reaching.
So where you got a
Scottie Pippen right now. You got a Scottie Pippen wingspan right now because you're reaching. We're talking about what Herbert says out of his mouth, aligning with what his actions are doing, not what Janelle says out of her mouth and Q aligning with her actions.
No, Herbert, you spoke about already, and now we're talking about Quentin. I was with you on Herbert. Quentin is saying you keep referring back to Herbert. Herbert's we've covered that.
Can we pause though?
Quentin is who we're talking about now.
Can we pause? It's very important. It's Felicia Cooper's birthday, so we have to wish her a happy birthday. Y'all were tussling, and everyone.
It's the birthday Eve.
Happy birthday!
Gonna be on here tomorrow, but thank you. So 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Felicia. Okay. Y'all could go back to.
No, we good because JR over here with a Scottie Pippen ring span right now.
No, I'm trying to listen to you guys and follow you guys' logic, right? If Quentin is saying the right things to Janelle, listen, she's not giving herself the time to discern whether it's true or not. She's running with what he's saying. She's very outspoken, right? She's not. She's very outspoken. If she doesn't like something, she's gonna say it. What has she said negatively about what Quentin's been saying to her? When
She's
have
not
you
going
seen
to
that?
say anything. She's kind of can't
Oh.
you tell she's kind of calculated. I will say, someone in the comments said she did run up on a 30-year-old in the house. You know, she does have a lot of immature ways. I'm not going to say she doesn't. We've already
that's why
seen
I
that with her
said-
talking about, you know, on her live. She's done a lot of immature things that don't really match where she should be in life, for sure.
That's why I wouldn't be rushing.
However, though, it's very, very clear that she's not paying attention to Quentin like that, because she told her friend, but I'm interested in Herbert. I want you to look into Herbert. She's not paying attention to Quentin like that. I think you think that women are slower than they are. Like, I think you think just because we entertain you, we believe you. She's entertaining him. She doesn't believe him.
So
she doesn't believe JR.
Quick question, right? We saw at the end of the show the preview for the next episode. I'm just going to ask this quick question. When Quentin was with Kat, and she said, you know, every time I try to get a moment with Quentin, Janelle's always around in the background, right? And there was a comment that was made. So, are you taking yourself off limits or something like that? And he said, well, yes, I am. And then she said, have you told the rest of the ladies that? Did you miss that part? Listen,
no, I saw
that. You saw half of that part because you're going to word it differently. But if I'm trying to get to the end and I got an alliance and I'm going to make sure my partner is going with me, to hell, I'm going to step in and say, I don't give a damn about what the other ladies think when I tell him to take himself off.
Talking about get to the end like there's some prize money. They don't get nothing for getting to the end and not making it. They don't get nothing.
They get more airtime.
What are they going to do that for? That's wasting time.
Some people won't. And I told you this whole season is a waste of people's time. That's what some people want.
Right. So again, you're talking about wasting time with Herbert, and these people are wasting time trying to get to the show with no genuine connection. So make it make sense. That's called wasting time too.
It doesn't make any sense, JR. And I've given up on trying to understand it. No,
I think you just have to give up. I took you on that journey.
You have to give up on trying to understand it. It doesn't make any sense. They're trying to make alliances to get to the end where there's no money at the end, and neither one of them
money, no car, no vacation,
car, no money, no vacation. You ain't spinning the wheel. You ain't passing go.
However, finish Seaway. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think at that point he was all in. He was all in with Janelle, and he didn't want to look like a flip-flopper. So he's like, look, I'm not switching up down to the house, so I'm just gonna stick with Janelle. Should he have looked into Kat? Should he have looked into other people? Sure. But at that point, he had already went that direction. And as it goes to Janelle, Janelle is mean. She don't want you to be with him just because she don't want you to be with him. She don't even need to like him. She doesn't seem like a very nice lady. So that still don't mean that she believed Quentin. I promise you she don't. I promise you she don't. And he probably ain't got enough money for her. Herbert looked like he got some funds. He do.
Well, Quentin is in his first year of entrepreneurship, so I take it he
exactly. That sound broke. Herbert
so having a child is another reason why that's not going to be sensible. Just saying.
Yeah, but he's saying all the things. Okay, he's lying. Thank you for proving it. Thank you.
And she's buying.
That's
not
the problem. Buying.
Where has she said she isn't buying it?
Why would she go against her alliance?
Tumbleweeds, Jay.
Who does
she hasn't
that?
Said she's not buying it.
Who does that?
She hasn't said she's not buying it.
I would never pick you for a team because I already see you would go against the team already. What?
You out here calling me Scottie Pippen?
Your ship so fast, Jay.
No, you out here calling me Scottie Pippen.
High and dry.
No, I took you on a journey to prove that. Listen, you have someone that wants an accelerated timeline, and she's got someone that's buying into what she's saying. All right. I don't believe it's true, but he's saying it, right? And she, as outspoken as she is, will call out BS. She called out Herbert already. She's not scared to lose connections.
So then let me ask you this, JR. Why do you think that she was hesitant about the friend suggesting that Quentin matched her better?
I don't know if that was genuine hesitancy over whether that was a better match. I just don't think that she was ready to completely break off everything with Herbert at that time. But going into the ladies' lounge, she was quite ready to get rid of him. You know, sometimes the friend's going to tell you the connection that you may not want to hear, but that may be the one that may be better for you.
Kojo, what you think?
I think I was asleep. But no, I think I didn't was asleep, guys. I had a power nap. I was in La La Land. But I did hear you guys because I had the headphones in my ears. I'm not sure whose side I was on, but all I know is you guys talking about someone buying and selling, and I was like, I know what's going on. But what I would say is, and it's my turn to say that, but no, I think the key thing here, obviously, between Janelle and Quentin and Herbert, I think there's a bit of both. I'm not gonna try and say I'm sitting on the fence, but there was a bit of both, right? Because naturally there is no prize at the end, right? But people like to compete. People want to win. It's innate in people. The prize is beating the people around you. And in some way, that is a form of validation for either person. Like for someone like Janelle, I can see that being a validation for her, that she beat the other women and she does not necessarily have to want Quentin. You know what I mean? She just has to get Quentin to buy what she's selling and vice versa. I think Quentin's also very competitive. In fact, I think both of them are so competitive that they're playing the game against each other. You know what I mean? Like, I think he likes her, but I don't think he likes her enough to want to really pursue it. But he's going to put 2 on 10. And I think she's willing to play a little bit, but she's also trying to make sure as well that, you know, she wants him. I think she'd rather play a bit more of Herbert, right? Because that's probably more a bit her speed. Quentin's a bit too young. So it's almost like, you know, when you're playing with someone a bit too young, it's a bit like, it's nice, but it's not the true form of competition. And I'm not saying that she doesn't see, I'm not saying that she looks down on him, but his age is a little bit like, you know, it's like, it's like you're not, how do I say this without, let's get dark. You want to play the game with somebody that you actually would do something with, but you don't actually want to do anything with. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you want there to be potential to play with, but you don't want to tap into the potential. You know what I mean? And for her, I don't think she would. I think Quentin's a nice looking dude. I think he's, you know, good looking dude as well. I think she can look at it, but she might never really consider it because of his age. Therefore, the game is actually not that fun. Because actually, in all honesty, Herbert's a better player. Because someone like Herbert is someone who would be more her speed. So playing with Herbert brings more satisfaction. And let me give you an example. If you could get a girl that you're not really attracted to want you and like you, it's fun. But after a while, it's not that fun because you were never really attracted to her. Now, get the girl that you're actually attracted to actually like you and want to play that game is a different level of validation because it's actually something that you actually would want. So I think that plays a role into it as well. But if I'm honest with you, with both Quentin and Janelle, they're both playing the game. This boy is dropping all his major bars with Janelle, you know, saying all the sweet nothings. It's a game. He knows what he's doing. I'm not saying he isn't a lover boy, but he knows exactly what he's doing. You know, right? He's got a little bit, he's intrigued a little bit, the older woman, maybe, you know, a little bit of fun there. If I could even get a little something, that would be a bonus. But, you know, I don't see him really wanting Janelle that way either, if I'm honest with you. I see them both just playing the game, you know what I mean? And for different reasons. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I would say that for those two. So I don't know what you two were actually saying. Maybe I haven't said anybody's a win on this one, but you know, just wanted to add that piece there. Yeah. Anybody else got any thoughts? To the left, to the left. We're gonna go to the left, to the left. All right, cool. Free failed engagement, people. Who is that? Who's got free failed engagements? That Janelle? Or was that Herbert? Oh, Janelle's got 3 failed engagements. Yeah. We'll have to tap into that another time and ask why she got 3 failed engagements, and then we have to ask Herbert why he's still single. But all right, cool. So let's move on to the next one then. Let's talk about obviously Chris Morier and Jessica, because that situation there, I was wondering why Chris was behaving the way he was. Morier was coming real strong, you know, would have come back. I don't know why Jessica, and I'm guessing that Jessica probably maybe didn't have a choice to bring him on a date because I thought they cancelled him after the tarot cards. Okay, after tarot cards, I thought that was finished. I'm sorry.
You see,
you know,
Maury is a
if you
front runner now.
he is, and I'm confused because if you label somebody an occultist, yeah, there's no comeback. There's no sorries. If I think you're an occultist or a wizard, there is no I'm sorry, my bad. You know what? I should have shown you the tarot cards. My bad. I should have eased you into my witchcraft. I'm so sorry. I do apologize. I came a little bit strong. You know, into that situation. I should have manipulated you a bit better than that. And for that, I am truly sorry. I should have really taken you on a journey.
This tarot card before I did this.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I was like, sorry, ain't cutting nothing. Jessica, why are we here? But maybe she got forced to put him on that. So I don't know.
No, she didn't. Because look at next episode. She gonna be fighting over the man. People about to be fighting over Morier. This is my problem. This is the issue with casting. Why is Jessica fighting over Dr. Umar's little brother? Why? What are we doing? That's all I'm gonna say on that. There's more I can say. I don't know why. I like this is wild to me. This is crazy to me.
The Alliance, isn't it? Strong.
Not over baby Umar. And I love me some Dr. Umar, but I'm not fighting over that man, not on TV.
We must stay focused, ladies.
We must have body positivity too, because us fluffy fellas deserve love too.
Now, who said anything about that man body but you? So now you done brought it up. I didn't say nothing about that man body.
You said, but now that we here,
now that we're here, I didn't say nothing about that man body.
Touche. I'm gonna bid myself adieu.
Because I think a little tongue chuck, a little fluff is cute.
I like a little pillow.
Yeah, it looks like you got a little chunky cheeks.
That's the second time today you don't want an argument with me. Now we're gonna end it here. That's it.
I don't know what's going on. Let me just count my blessings, okay?
Exactly. So you got 2 concessions today. That's
Time
it.
out for the week. Time out for the week.
You're done for the rest of the year.
We'll try this again next week.
No, Morier, he got cute little chunky cheeks. He's adorable, but it's more the tarot cards and the Dr. Umar activism and the other stuff that he got going on, and just the fact that he just doesn't seem aligned with Jessica at all. So I'm trying to now Elsie. I'm just trying to
you said it because that's what I'm laughing at right here.
I'm just trying to figure out how did we get here? Jessica's not supposed to be here. Okay.
Well, she's also competitive as well. They got an alliance going on. They're competitive. They got an alliance. They're competitive. Do you know what I mean? People are competing.
I'm gonna block all y'all these comments.
Someone said thick hotel king. See what you done opened? Someone said he's a thick hotel king.
I just got a DM from somebody on the cast out that shall remain nameless, so I'm gonna clearly sign myself off completely.
What the DM say? You in trouble?
They said I'm acting a fool on the panel. Oh man. I thought I was being tame. Oh gosh.
You like, Christian, we need to keep body positivity. I said, wait, now I didn't say
I know. I just see that's when silence is okay. I'm gonna take my own lessons going forward.
You know, you was just trying to get in front of the enemy, but the enemy hadn't presented itself yet. That was the only problem. I hadn't said anything yet.
You're right.
Your heart was in the right place.
Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you.
Elsie need to be blocked for a day. You about to go on a 24-hour.
We're gonna put her in silence, okay? Because that's unacceptable.
The thick kings are in, though. The thick kings are in.
He looked good. I'm not even lying. I think he looks good.
I love me a teddy bear, especially if he's tall. Give me a tall teddy bear, baby.
He look
good, baby
so
Levert, exactly. Trey Mac.
Not the baby Levert. Yes, sing to me, daddy.
He looked good.
Yeah,
I just haven't forgotten his comment.
Y'all a mess.
Absolutely.
It's just on every
Absolutely.
other season. I think he would have got sent home day one. I do find it interesting that he's not sent home. You know, that he's still here. I think that's good. That's showing that everybody's evolving.
I would like to hope so. I'd like to.
Y'all
hope
send
so.
home the handsome man with the 4 kids over other people y'all could have sent home. So I think that's a positive step.
So, oh,
Uh-oh.
God has said this is enough.
Got to cut it.
Listen, Maury sent them crystals your way. Shut the slide.
That's Maury with the
what you
tarot
not
card.
gonna do?
He said the hangman has said.
He's
Maury though, do low key got one of the best personalities though. Outside of that tarot cards and praying to them different statues or whatever else he doing, I think he do got, you know, one of the better personalities for sure. He seems like he's super fun to be around.
Listen.
So
we need to pivot, please, Kojo. I don't know where you are, but can we just go on to a different couple, because this is now he has left the building, so we need to move on, because this is yeah.
Yeah, they say he
getting more threats.
We want to move around freely.
Well, I would move around, but I don't remember what else happened. That date was a blur to me.
That date had Chris and her
We didn't even talk about the date, no less. Did we really?
No.
What was Chris doing on the date, y'all?
Somebody.
What did Chris say on the date? He looked like he was in prison. What did he do?
He didn't say nothing. That was the problem on the date. He was stuck for words and stuttering and carrying on. And only time he gave a real answer is when it became generalized.
Right.
Chris,
he didn't want to be there.
He was asked what wifely qualities do you see in Jessica?
And what was his answer?
And then generalized it.
Yeah, she's a career woman and she's strong, but you know, I want to see the softer side. You know, the same stuff you've been saying, really.
Jesus of Nazareth, you have risen.
Okay, yeah. So he was still complaining on the date, I guess. Production probably dragged him there.
Was this the one where he called her strong again or something like that?
Yeah, like he basically can't name any wifely qualities that she has, because his idea of what he's looking for in a wife, she's not it. So he can't name it because he doesn't see it in her yet. You know, and she's you know, they're just not on the same plane. They're not on the same trajectory. So again, it's an elimination date this time for me, in my opinion. I don't know why she's fighting for him in the next episode. I think that may be production or something, or
she's fighting for Maury.
Fighting for Maury.
About to say. Okay, well, she can let go of she probably fight for Maury because she let go of Chris then. Because who was it she said after the date in her confessional, she said, yeah, like we're probably just friends, like we've reached the end.
She said they're gonna go amicably, but I'm like, okay, sis, that's you getting ahead of the devil. But
and that was about Chris, right?
That was about Chris, but she's saying that they doing it amicably, but I'm just like, maybe he already cut you off. Just trying to say
they probably cut each other off. I'm sure they cut each other off, and production just made them go on that stupid date.
They did.
Quite fair, yeah.
Jessica don't need to. She don't look like she need to be running after nobody named Chris.
Looks be deceiving.
Well, maybe
so
she do.
Is it acceptable though for a man at this stage in dating and getting to know to ask a woman to alter her behavior?
No. On neither side though.
Okay.
Alter how? I think that's a key question, right?
Well, yeah, he's asked her to be a little more soft, right? A little more softer in the way she talks to him.
Talk to him nicely.
Nothing wrong with that.
this is my thing with the two of them, and I'm not going to say that anybody needs to alter anything, but she says she has more than one side. When she went into the date, she said the many sides of Jessica. However, Chris only gets one because he's complaining that he's only seeing one side. So granted, he used the word softer, but I'm assuming he wants to see another side of her than the corporate business side.
And he doesn't bring any of those other sides out of her. So
No, because he's whispering.
He's the only one that's made that critique. The other guys haven't necessarily said that. So
that's why I didn't believe him when he said on Aries Day, I can I can turn it on and be dominant. I was like, nigga, where? Chris, I love you, but where? Where? Okay,
Work.
You got Lee on her interview saying that you don't say nothing. You got Jessica running you into the ground. Where's the dominance? Just be honest. You don't have that dominance. It's okay. You have dominance maybe in business, but you don't have it when it comes to relationships with the ladies. So that's why that's and and I understand that. I mean, look, we all have to have our work that we're doing, our boundaries and our asserting of ourselves. So maybe you're doing that work, but where for the dominance as you talk about, there is no dominance.
I'll say that same thing I kind of said for Herbert earlier in that case with the back and forth with the friend. In this case, where you need to
Chris is in the comments, by the way.
Oh, there we go.
I see him.
Okay, that's fine. But like when you need to step up and show the woman a side of you for her to open up her other side, like going along with what you're saying, Kojo, if you want to see a softer side of her, you have to show a more stronger demeanor of yourself for her to step back.
Absolutely.
Or whatnot. So maybe like sometimes you have to give people something so they can give you something in return. And a lot of times us women is looking for you as a man to lead, even in emotions. So sometimes y'all got to lead us. Like Herbert was leading that whole situation with the friend. And the friend came back with it. Now, did she have to? No, she didn't have to. So we're not going to go there again, JR. But he led with it. Okay. And so she reciprocated. A lot of times we want to be led with certain things. And if you lead us with a strong hand, we will delicately grab yours and let you take hold. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to feel secure.
But you know what the man's response is? The dudes on this panel keep talking about submissiveness should not be conditional. It should not be conditional.
And it's not conditional. And it's not conditional. And it's not conditional. It shouldn't be conditional. And it
now you choose violence. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Don't got me to wake up.
I see where we are now. How quickly the tides turn.
Get your swords out, fellas.
She done sent the bait out ready to buy it. Okay.
Oh, my bad. Pause. I see where you say it. Pause. I got you.
Yeah, like, come on now. You work for Kojo.
I was actually thinking about samurai swords. For the first time, my mind wasn't below their belts. Okay.
Listen,
moderators, please help us. There is a random troll just using all types of handles in the comments tonight.
Oh yeah, help us, mods.
Yeah.
You done open the door to astrology, so somebody's talking about Aries. Jesus Christ, the Aries sign, not the Aries, the woman on the cast.
Oh yeah, somebody.
In here. But no, I mean, listen, hey, look, you know what? I think there's two sides to this, right? I think Chris does need to be a bit more, definitely needs to be way more firmer. I think as well. But I do also think, with Jessica, he can be as firm as he wants. Doesn't mean she's gonna respect him. Now she might respect the fact he was firm with her. Doesn't mean she's gonna respect him. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But I take both sides. Yeah, I do take both sides as well. I do think a much more firmer approach would, at least put her in some positions. Be like, hey, look, I need to watch how I'm moving and how I'm talking. And funny enough, I spoke to a friend about this today, and she was like, the reason why she doesn't like some of these guys is because she feels like she can tell them to shut up. And I started laughing because I know exactly what that person is. I was one of those people. that you look like you can tell someone to shut up, and it's because you don't necessarily assert yourself. Do you know what I mean? So it does show up. It does show up, and women do take. Some women, not all, some women do take advantage of that, and some women also do. A lot of women do not like that. They can run you into the ground or tell you to shut up, or they can control the situation. So I also understand that perspective too. I do think that he was within the rights and remits to ask and say, hey, look, I don't like being spoken to in this particular manner. You know, I'd like it to be a bit more softly spoken towards me. And I think that's fine. I think that that's a fair assessment a fair point to make. Again, she chose that she didn't want to. She basically said that she gonna be who she gonna be, and at that point, he has to make a choice and go his way. So I understand that, you know. Yeah, I know we done triggered the algorithm to send the robots in. You get me? I feel like we're in the Matrix fighting all the algorithm. But thank you for those who are banning the comments. Really appreciate you guys as well.
Maybe put subs only on. I don't know.
Yeah, I can put on subs only. There's a bit of us 10 minutes. Yeah, any more thoughts? Sorry, guys, I know I got distracted there. So any more thoughts on the situation?
What do we say?
Chris Morier and Jessica.
Somebody mad. Literally, maybe Morier, he flipped the tarot card on us.
Let's not use those trigger words because
everything is crazy. This ain't never happened before. That man really probably did. I need to watch my mouth.
Hey, I hear that. I ain't even mad at it. Okay. I'll put it on thingy as well whilst we're there. Okay. Any other points, guys?
I'm just glad that these two have made the decision to go their separate ways. Or whatnot. And I'm with Seaway. I don't know how you make a comeback to Morier other than you just trying to compete for whatever reason. So like, because one thing for sure that most people get a divorce for, if it's not finances, is religion. So it's very seldom, it's very rare and seldom that two people of very different religious beliefs can be together for a long term. So what are we doing? What are these two doing besides wasting all our time on TV? So, okay.
Whew.
I'm with you. Any other thoughts? Guys? Any other thoughts? See where done triggered the algorithm, and the algorithm done sent all the robots in disguise.
So where did refresh my memory? Where did Morier and Jessica end with their date? Because we know Chris and Jessica, it's a no-go, right? So what about Morier and Jessica? Where are they at now?
The friends like them. The friends like them, but of course she probably didn't tell the friends about the hotel card situation either.
Absolutely. They'd have been speaking in tongues on date if they heard about tarot cards. To
be fair, Janelle was more offended by the tarot cards than Jessica.
That's true.
But Jessica didn't like it either.
That's very true.
So,
True that.
You tell no lies.
And he brought her a prayer candle, so you know it was nice.
Yeah, She better watch out for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
I don't know
scary.
what prayers he's doing, but that's not the same prayers that she was doing. Okay, cool. So let's move it on then to let's move on to last one. Phil Aries, Chris was in that date as well. So last one actually. So Phil and Aries, the situation between them. Phil looked well in comparison to what Chris was kind of offering. It did feel a little bit unstable from Phil. It might have been the way that they edited the show as well to make it intentionally look like he is financially unstable, because they made it look like he was like, not even say struggling, but not on his feet like all the way through. Do you know what I mean? And it might have been editing the way they did it on purpose to make it seem that way, to build a narrative. But I don't know if it's her father or whatever, he was saying, you know, that he preferred Chris because Chris was more open to having her do whatever she was doing. Now, hey, it's the part where I said I like Chris, but is this cap? Because your ex-girlfriend came out and told us you wanted a whole servant. So I was looking at it like, so what's this? All of a sudden, my wife can do whatever she wants. I said, really? That's some growth, if that is the case.
Did he mean
And
financially? Did he mean financially?
Well, she can have a career in it. She can do her career and everything. But the last girlfriend tried that. Okay, she had her own career, and before she knew it, she was a servant. So,
but even with that, that girl made a conscious choice to do that. So I kind of can only take her for a grain of salt so far.
I agree. She's part of it too.
Yeah, so that was a conscious choice that you did to sacrifice your career to support his. That's like joining an NFL player or somebody that's going to the league or something. Like, you gonna sit here and spend all your time at home waiting for them to get home instead of pursuing your dreams on the side or whatever the case may be, however you want to do it full time and put him on the side, however the case may be. Her word is like not as credible in my eyes. Had she came into it and just really was just like, I was fully supporting him from top to bottom, this, that, and the third, I can look at it a little bit more better. But something about it was just not giving me that this was something that he made her do. So in this stance, I can kind of hear him out to say that if my lady wants to continue, but I'll say this on your defense though, Kojo, he did sit there and say, if she wants to continue, I'm not going to stop her. I'm not going to fight her or whatever and stuff like that. So it sounds to me like he wants her to still have her own stuff and do it. Now, if she does make that decision to stay at home and whatnot, he may still want her to cater. Still might want her to do a whole bunch of other stuff while she at home. That doesn't mean that you just get to sit home with the baby and not do anything. Because some people do still believe that, oh, you at home babysitting and watching your child and cleaning the house is not a big thing. So there's that side too. But he was a lot of cap. He had a lot of cap, but I'm not going to say he was a lot of cap. It wasn't special. Nothing to me was specified to Aries on the questioning that we seen. The question was a general question, and he gave his general answer to what he wants. It wasn't specified to like how the question for Jessica was, what do you see in Jessica for a wife? This one was more like, what do you want in a wife? So it was more easier for him to answer the question than it being specified to any one person. So.
Good point.
Yeah, I feel like you can't pick me your way through a situation and relationship and blame the man, because what I took from that situation with the ex-girlfriend and what he say? Hold on. She wished. So I'm glad he says this. This is what I was gonna say. You can't pick me your way through a relationship and turn around and blame the man. And what I'm saying is, you can't do all these things to be the supportive role and be cooking and cleaning and sacrificing your dreams and doing all this type of stuff on the pick me roller coaster, and then it doesn't work out and then blame the man. You know what I mean? Because you have to do what's best for you. You have to voice your needs and your desires, and you can't suppress them because you're trying to appease a man. Because most men don't even be picking the people who be laying out the red carpet for them. They want a chase. They want a challenge. They want someone who respects themselves, has a value system, who speaks for themselves. And I think that a lot of women do that because they think, oh, if I'm the most subservient, if I say all the yeses and do all the things, then he's going to pick me. And then you get 10 years of girlfriend. And then you come on a show later talking about I was his slave. Well, you was his servant by choice. And I think a lot of people take that role. What I will say though is, what I did get from the conversation is that there are some men who will say, hey, go ahead and you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to stop you. But they're not like the type of personality, like a Jay-Z personality, where they want their women to match their energy, where they thrive off of seeing their woman be successful. They're just basically saying, I'm not mad at you if you keep up what you're doing like it's a cute little hobby. So I think there's a couple of different type of men. You need to figure out which man you're dealing with. Chris, you could clarify, but it seems from what I can see that you don't mind your girl keeping up her little hobby. but you're not getting off by your woman being a power woman. There's other people who get off by being a power couple. And they want their woman to keep their career and they want to both, rise together. And that's not what I get from Chris. So honestly, if Aries is one of them people who like her career, not saying that she's taking this day seriously anyway, because it doesn't. Oh, he says I'm right. I be knowing, Chris. I be saying I be knowing. I wouldn't do that if you really want your career. Y'all laughing at me. I tend to be able to call it out. I be knowing.
I think he said you're right about what he's looking for. I know you trying to just seal it on the whole narrative that you got going here about. Yeah,
I'm not. He doesn't have to be right about the pick me situation. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Wait, no, he don't have to be right. He don't.
Just pushed that. Yeah.
I'm right, but he don't have to be right.
I know what I know about that pick me.
You love Seaway. I love your Sag boy. I tell you,
I'm big Sag because to me, I know my personality. I probably wouldn't work out with nobody like Chris because I don't need you to depend on my money. That's one, but I also want my job and I'm going to take it very seriously. And I want you to be pushing me, rooting for me, wanting me to achieve as far as I can because it's important to me. It's not just because I want money. It's my identity and I want that support, But there's other women who wouldn't mind having a little part-time job and getting taken care of by Chris. That's who he should be with. Get them a little part-time job. Jay, you want you a part-time job? What you want?
Chad, I want me a full-time, paid, at-home term shit.
And I ain't mad at it.
You feel me? I need flights and all.
Mm-hmm.
Jay said you can soft life her for sure. She won't be mad.
Jay ain't mad at the part-time job. She said, look, at this juncture, part-time me.
Part-time me and fly me out. Flew me out, baby.
Part-time me. Look, I'll quit my job. I'll bake for you. What you want?
I'll cook at home. It'll be food at home every time you get home.
No, I mean, listen, look, I think, I do think you're right about the lady taking some accountability. I think she definitely needs to take accountability for the fact that she got roped involved in that as well. I do feel though, and maybe this is me projecting, coming from an African background, I come from a Ghanaian background. It's slightly different to Nigerian background. Now, Chris can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be corrected here. But Nigerians are very hot on their culture. Usually very hot on their culture. And they're very hot on gender roles, right? And very hot on what role a man plays. I'm very hot on what a woman plays. That's why I wasn't surprised when she said she fell into the whole servitude, because usually that is what the role they usually play. The woman usually tends to fall behind the man. Now it takes a different type of thinking for that man to say he wants a different type of relationship. That's why I was like not surprised that would happen and not surprised it would come up, because naturally the culture, that's what we promote as a culture. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So you're right. See, I definitely agree that, having somebody who's also going to power couple it, that isn't necessarily always the way they want to go about it. You know what I mean? But I definitely felt like, I know it looks very laissez-faire, but I kind of see that it's not laissez-faire, Chris. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he just generally is a laissez-faire person. When I say more chilled and laid back, maybe I see that. But I definitely see that from my perspective, maybe my intuition. I go, yeah, you calm on the surface, but you're going to expect a lot from her, because traditionally and culturally, you have those inbuilt ideologies that don't always surface themselves immediately. Like some people's one that you see it from the jump, like you see them and they're going to be asking for X, Y, and Z. It looked like for me that Chris ain't asking from the jump, but he's expecting it. So it's a silent expectation. So eventually you end up falling prey to it, because that's why I was so hard on him when he said the thing about Jessica, because it was like, that's what happens when you're within our culture. I know what happens. Sometimes some of us in our culture might not say it out loud because we're trying to go against the traditions, but you're so inbuilt within your culture and tradition that it comes out anyway. It just comes out passively aggressively. So you might not say it on the outside, like, I expect my woman to be like this. Nah. But then when that situation with Jessica, I was looking, I was like, that's probably going to come out in a more passive way. You're not gonna say wash the dishes, but you're gonna be like, I expect my wife to wash the dishes. Like, it won't be on the surface. You're not gonna say to Aries' face, I expect you to wash the dishes. But when you get into a relationship, like, Aries, why don't you wash dishes? Why don't you clean? Why don't you do all the roles? Do you know what I'm saying? And I may be wrong. Maybe I'm judging him wrongly. But just knowing how our culture is and how it can seep into a brother, just saying. That's what I was seeing. So
they're gonna be at you in the comments. Anytime you mention Nigerian anything, your comments gonna blow up.
No, they're gonna be at you, okay? And then they get at me because they got you. So you need to be careful what you say. As for me, I know exactly what I'm talking about. It's you.
You got hella stress.
It's you. Every time they get at me, it's because of your ass.
Today. I was just trying to say
this is Seaway, Nigeria.
Dang, I be getting hit. I be 2 pieces of me in the comments anytime I say anything, so I ain't saying crap.
Oh my gosh. Any other thoughts?
Well, I would say that
there's
I hear what you're saying, and I could understand that there's an element of that, of what he wants. But I do think, when he mentioned that he was one of the first to break away from his family tradition of having an arranged marriage, there is a part of him that, is not super traditional, right? So there's some room, some bend and flex in the scenario, So I think he's a little more, and that's the part where you see he's a little more laid back. At least that's what I've seen a little bit. And even in his comments where he was like, she can work, but I guess it's like if that work starts to influence and get becomes too much of an interference with our family and the things that we got going on, then we may need to scale it back.
But that's what I'm saying. That's where the silent expectation of your traditional culture tends to seep in. Listen, I'm not very attached to my culture, Ghanaian culture, so toughly, but you don't realize it seeps into your ideologies of how you even see men and women and what roles we play within a relationship. So sometimes you don't see it into your inner relationship, and you start realizing it seeps into expectations of that woman. That's why when Siwe is saying, okay, look, her job, it might not work with how he wants it to be done. Yeah, do you know why? He ain't gonna say it on the surface. It's gonna pop up. It's gonna be like, so this job that is, it's taking a lot of time. Like it's taking a lot of time.
I guess where I'm pushing back on that is that he is saying it because he did tell Jessica. I mean, he's not like being like super
he didn't
rough,
say Jessica.
but
he told her about her voice. He didn't tell her about her job, and he said he likes strong women. I don't know if he likes strong women like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
so I agree with you. I'm saying his voice part. He said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say I think, and I made these comments before, and some people have taken it the wrong way. Culture matters, and just like we have a lot of conversations about a lot of different topics, it seems like Black people in the diaspora want to get sensitive when we're talking about the intersection of different people's cultures. Even if you're talking about a Southern culture to a Northern culture, me and Sean laugh about how he can't tell me relax. I get offended. Maybe he could tell a girl in New York relax. It's small things, but culture matters. The way people communicate matters, and I think people want to skip over that. If you were raised one particular way, maybe you may not be able, I'm just going to use Ghanaian so I don't get dragged today. You may not be able to go into a Ghanaian or traditional Ghanaian man, but maybe you can work with Kojo, who's first gen British, right? Then maybe that may work, but you may need to communicate with him about that. People don't want to have this, and religion, people need to have these conversations. Like Kojo said, it's very nuanced. He didn't just wear it on his chest, his cultural background, but it came up when he was basically telling her, you talk too loud. You coming in here yelling. In my opinion, she didn't come in here yelling. Maybe Sean's opinion, she wasn't yelling, but for him, she was yelling even by not yelling. Maybe she was too boisterous. Maybe it was too much energy. It was something that he just didn't like. So I think people need to have those conversations.
All the New York women are saying they don't like. I told you before, they don't like it either. Seaway. It's just something that we say, and I say they don't like it. Nobody really likes it, but it's just what you say is better than shut up, right? So it's kind of what you say to kind of get your point across.
That relaxes me every time. I'm like,
I am relaxed. Nah, but to see, the wonderful thing about dating outside your culture and all that is you can learn something new, and you just have to have conversation with each other. And it's about, like I said the last time, when I'm asking you to speak to me a certain way, just respect me. You can go talk to everybody else the way you want to talk to, but I'm asking you to treat me a certain way, and in return you can do the same. If you want me to talk to you a certain way or behave a certain way, you can make those requests. Now, will I oblige? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends on if I want you as that person or not. But you can always put it out there. And this is like a perfect time to have these conversations of what is it that when you say you want to give a woman a soft life, what does it look like to you? What does leadership take place in your house? How does that take place in your household? These are all good starters for conversations to go further. That's why even with the situation with Herbert earlier between me and JR is when you say fun, what does fun mean for you? Because I'm going to take it a certain way. If I say I want a soft life, that might mean I want to be able to jet set and do these type of things like I'm a housewife. And to you, that might mean just stay at home and take care of the kids and wash dishes and cook and all this other stuff. We have to have these conversations. We got to do a little bit more of getting to what the nuances, break those things down to the simplified version of it. So we know if we are truly on the same page or not. So I don't know. We need to talk more.
I'm with it. I'm all with it. Not all with it. You know what I mean? So Chris says, let me ask you, what man in the right mind wants his wife to struggle? A man has to and need to work. A woman doesn't. No woman in my life will be forced to work. That's a choice for her. That's a beautiful thing, and we appreciate it, Chris. I like that. You know what I mean? So nothing wrong with that at all. You know, I commend you for that as well. I definitely hear what you guys are saying. You know, culture is a big thing. So, I think there's some real conversations to be had there as well. And culture is a big thing. So, but I think we're gonna end it there because our time's up. I said 2 hours and we're on 2.5 hours. So we're gonna bring this thing to a close. Sean, give us benediction.
I don't even know what the benedict on.
Waste our time, Sean. Just give us some good and waste our time with it. You got this.
Woo! We're gonna pray. So first of all, just in relationships, please don't waste anybody's time. Be upfront, be clear, and if you proclaim to be ready for love, have a plan. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You need to have a plan. You need to agree on a somewhat reasonable timeline. Can't be too long, can't be too short, but it needs to be reasonable. So please be clear in your intentions. Make your intentions known, as it says in the Bible, right? Make your intentions known and make them clear. I would also say, listen, we don't have time for combating in relationships. Nobody wants Mortal Kombat. It's a video game, right? We don't want to have Mortal Kombat in the household. So if your approach is to combat, if your approach is to fight, I would venture to say you are not ready to love. You are ready to tussle, and maybe tussle in other ways. So listen, get that fixed, get that healed. We all have something. Know what your something is, but work on it. Always be evolving, be changing for the good. Back to you, Coach.
Love that. Thank you. Yes, audience, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good live as well. We had over 560 people in the live. So good turnout as well as always. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the conversation. You guys got to see the great super panel once more again. Jay, Seaway, JR, Sean, always appreciate it as well. So don't ever think I don't appreciate you guys. I really do join us on the show. I will be back probably a little bit, probably about 45 minutes. Yeah, at 3. So that'll be what, 9 p.m. EST or 9 p.m. CST. I should be actually not EST, but I meant to do the dating question, ask dating question on a Tuesday. So. But I'm gonna take a little nap before I do that, and I might not wake up. That's gonna be I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Okay, when I take a nap, it tends to take me to the next day. So, I'm not gonna promise anything, but I should be back in 45 minutes. But if I don't, I'm asleep. I'm just gonna be real with you. Don't lie. But yeah, no. Hopefully, I'll be back for the session. It'll be about an hour. It'll be an hour's time if I'm gonna do it, because I just need to shut my eyes. Okay. But I finished watching Ultimatum as well, guys. So we'll do a live on Ultimatum. I finished watching it just the other day, as well. And there's a lot of crazy things on that show that I need to discuss and vent. Okay. First of all, Roxanne's crazy as Alex. Just want to say that, because Alex crazy too. Okay. I just felt like Roxanne. Let me get this out. I know it's ready to love, but let me get this out. Okay, maybe you guys can say something on this as well. I just felt like with Roxanne, what I don't like is Rox throwing rocks and hiding her hands as if she didn't do her own madness. How are you going to be accusing someone of snitching on you and saying things behind your back? And in that same argument, you had already snitched on another person behind their back. I just wanted to say that. Then I want to talk about Antonio. Why are we sprinting from building to building, please? Why are we doing Noah Lyles into the building to sprint to your gal? And why are you so delusional that your own girl tells you to your face that she says some stuff that was disrespectful, and you still don't want to believe it? That level of delusion.
Delusional too.
Listen, there's a lot of delusional things going on, that was going on there as well. So there's a lot that was happening in that particular thing. Funny enough, I think, I really like Trey and Ryan. I wanted them to work out. I don't think James is a bad person. I just think he's got a lot of things to work on. I just don't think he's the right person for Ryan. So, but I understand 7 years is a very long time to try and break away from that, and he's not necessarily the baddest. But I just want to say a little hint. When she said he broke the glass in the house, I said, after he told her about her hand signals.
There was another time when he first went into the house with Rhea, and he had to go make his run. And you look at his knuckles the next day. I had to watch the camera the next time, because I'm like, his knuckles was all red. I'm like, that told me something right there. I seen that earlier. I was like, oh you punch walls. And things. But maybe it's the pigmentation or lack thereof. But I was like, your knuckles are really, really red out of nowhere. And so when he revealed what he revealed at the end, I said, oh, okay. Makes sense. But that's scary.
That we need Ryan to watch out.
Basically
saying we need Ryan to watch out. Yeah, that's not cool. I'm sorry, that's not cool. Yeah, there's a lot going on there that needs to be worked out. Yeah, and then unfortunately, Rhea and Trey as well. They got back together, but I don't know what to say about those two, Rhea and Trey. I feel like I felt for Rhea. I understand. I think she, in all honesty, she was telling the truth. She got cheated at the experiment, and not because she got with James, but because Brian wasn't there. And baby girl, let me tell you, the honest truth is this: the only reason why you're pissed off is because you didn't get Brian. It's not because James turned out to do what he's doing. It's because Brian wasn't there. Okay, baby, let me tell you this. I felt like if Rhea did have Brian there, you'd have been cheating. I felt like you would have been cheating the way she was so involved with him after the first day. So, I was just like, So, yeah. It's a lot to go on that one. All right, cool. Let me jump off this, take my quick nap, and then I'll be back. But yeah, guys, I will do a live tomorrow. And talk about Ultimatum, and I know the new episodes drop tomorrow as well, so I guess I won't be going to sleep early. But appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll talk again very, very soon. Much love. Much appreciated. Oh, before I do, hold on, I gotta read a super chat. I realized I didn't read it. Super chat by Phil Good. Shout out to Phil Good. He gave us a super chat. He says, "Why are the men the issue? Are we ignoring the problematic women? I think there are too many Instagram casting instead of real people." Shout out to Phil for saying that, shout out Phil for saying that. And don't worry, we will talk about the recent Brittany Renner situation. It is a little bit tasty. I probably have an unpopular opinion. I do feel bad for her. I really do. I feel like she's unstable at this point, and I wished that they would have cut her off the podcast when it started getting a bit off, because she doesn't look in her sane mind. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, and I feel bad about seeing someone in that space. You know what I mean?
You
Yeah,
are
sure.
turning into the Baptist Pentecostal pastor that doesn't want to let the church go. And I promise I'm going to end this sermon right here because y'all don't want to hear me. And then you roll into something else. Let's start with Brittany Renner. That's a whole...
He leaving like a typical black person at a party.
And right, for 1 hour, talk about, I'm getting ready to go. I know I got to go.
He done made every stop. He had the front door. He had the car.
We gonna go, guys.
He pulling down the street. But wait, real quick, one more thing.
We gonna go, guys. It is time, and you can't leave the church.
He's like James Brown with the coat.
The doors of the church closed, or are they closed?
The church is closing. The church is closing. Oh, by the way, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey. I mean, listen, I can't believe that Steve Harvey is being dragged out here by Nigerians, even. Nothing against the Nigerians, but again, the Nigerians are dragging him because they're saying that he got cheated on by Marjorie. You know what I mean?
But he said that's a lie. He said that's a lie.
He said that's a lie. I hope that is a lie. You know what I mean?
He came out and said that's a lie.
Well, I hope that's a lie. So
I'm looking for the Brittany Renner thing. I thought it was on Spiritual World, and now I don't see it.
It was on Spiritual World.
I put it in the group chat. I put it in the group chat.
Okay. Now it's gone. I couldn't find it.
They deleted it.
They deleted it and took it down?
Let me see.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Because Sean put it there this morning.
I don't see it.
Oh. They're taking it down.
Wait, let me see.
Wait,
no, I see it.
No, it's there. It's there.
I was going to say.
It was early in the... Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
No, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in this season right now. So there's a lot to discuss in the next few weeks. But yeah, we gonna go, guys. Okay. I appreciate y'all. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again soon. Much love, much appreciation.